everyone, my name's Charlie and I've helped over 150 people win their PIP and ADP claims, and I also receive PIP myself. Today I want to talk to you about 5 things that I never do with my clients, and I truly believe it will hinder your claim. If you've already done something that I talk about today, just move forward and avoid these, what I consider mistakes going forward. If you were thinking about it, please trust me, my success rate is amazing. I know what I'm talking about. Number 1, please don't be rude when dealing verbally, face-to-face or in writing with any of the staff, whether it's the assessment company, DWP, whoever it is. We've got to remember that they're humans as well. The training, although the training documents in DWP are stunning, I don't think the training is very good. There are people that are having conversations with members of our community that have severe mental health conditions, and they are not in a position to be asking the questions they're asking, in my opinion. I am always, and my clients are always, polite. Remember that it's always different people that look at your case. There are caseworkers, but when a mandatory reconsideration comes in, it's someone else. Your review assessment is someone else. The person that gives the points is someone else. So there's no need to start on a negative. And I never threaten them. Never threaten them. No human being likes to be threatened. So, and when I say threatened, I mean, if you don't do this, I'll take you to tribunal. No. Sometimes I will say, I'll put comments in like, please be aware that I've kept these documents in case it has to go to tribunal. You can say it, but don't threaten them. Because all of us naturally get our backs up if someone threatens us. You don't want that. You want them to understand what your daily life is like. And by being negative, rude, threatening, people only take in 10% of written, 20% of verbal. You need them to focus on the important stuff. Number 2, so many people get caught up in this one, and you're not going to like it. And those of you with anxiety are going to find it, some of you are going to find it impossible to take my advice on this one. Do not focus on the discrepancies in your report. So you know when you get the outcome, you get 2 pieces of paper with the points on it, and then you get a written, like a bit of a written statement. So many people focus on the errors in the written report. I don't even read the written report. When I work with clients and they go, do you want me to read you the report? No. Shall I send you the report? No. I'm not interested in what they wrote, because more often than not, there are errors in it. Don't know why. It shouldn't be that way. There are less if you inform them at the beginning of your assessment that you are recording it. But there's normally errors, okay? Just accept it. Again, I have an extremely high success rate, so this works. It doesn't matter what the discrepancies are. What matters is that you state fact about your daily life, that you communicate it clearly, linking it to the points, to how they are assessing you. Remember, people don't take in a lot of what we say or what they read. You've got to get to the point. And if you're writing reams of information or waffling on about discrepancies, it's not helping your case. It is not helping the individual that is reviewing your case figure out, are you entitled to PIP or ADP? That is what you're trying to do. You wouldn't be watching this video if you were healthy. You just wouldn't. You'd be getting on with your life. If you're watching this video because you're thinking about fraudulently claiming, get the fuck off my channel. My channel is for people that are truly suffering. And if you are one of those people that's truly suffering, you haven't got the energy to be worrying about discrepancies. You've got to be consistent, focus on the facts of your daily life. What would be worth your time is watching the other guides I've got. Okay? Do that. Do something positive, not negative. Number 3, don't tell them the answer. I've seen this many times when clients that I've worked with, can't remember if I said I've got a link in the description where you can get access to me or you can get the free newsletter, free templates. It's all in the description on YouTube, right? I've worked with so many people where they've worked with a PIP specialist and the specialist is not giving great advice, right? And one of the things that I see quite often is people will be advised to state, you know, the points that I talk about. By the way, if you're thinking, what points, Charlie? If this is one of the first of my videos you've ever seen, you must watch the guides I've got. The points is the be all and end all to PIP and ADP. You have to understand them to be able to win. If you're a regular, you know I talk about them all the time. So what I mean by telling them what the answer is I have seen it where people have written documents like mandatory reconsiderations or reviews, tribunals. They've explained a bit about their daily life and then they've gone, for example, so I am B 2 points. Oh, no. No. Especially tribunal level. Tribunal level, there is a judge, a doctor, and a disability specialist. They earn more money than we ever will. They are specialists. They are independent from DWP. We do not rub a judge's nose in it and say, you will give me this. This is what I'm entitled to. That is rude. It's not our place. What we have to do is provide the information so it is very clear for them to do their job and go, right, where does this person sit within the scoring system? That's what we're supposed to do. We are not the caseworkers. We are not the specialists that work for DWP, and we're certainly not the judge, the doctor, or the disability specialist. It's not our place to state what we should get. Don't do it. I don't advise it. Have you ever been in a position where you've been talking to someone about something and they've told you what you've got to say, and you're like, they've told you the answer? Like, no, please don't do that. It's insulting. It's really insulting. Okay. Number 4, wasting their time. This is so important. The DWP system, there is different tabs. So every time you send a piece of paper to them, every time you fill out a form, every time you do an assessment, everything about you, there is a different tab in the DWP system. So if you send loads and loads of paperwork to them, there's too much for them to go through and they will miss the important bits. We're dealing with humans. They're extremely busy, have a backlog. They don't have time to filter through the rubbish that you've sent them, trying to figure out what your life is like. That's your job. Your job is to communicate clearly with them. The worst I've ever known it is someone sent over 600 pieces of evidence to DWP. What the fuck? On average, even this is tribunal level, on average, I will send no more than 30 pieces of evidence. And that includes written information clarifying that person's daily life. No more than 30. And that is in a really severe case where there's evidence from clinical psychologists, etc., etc. Okay? No. So I would say, on average, try not to submit more than 15 pieces of evidence, including if you do the additional evidence document. I'm going to put the video at the end of this so you watch it because it's so important and it's not getting enough views. You don't realise how important it is. Watch the evidence video and you will see that most of what you think is good to send them is a waste of time. And you do not, I repeat, you do not need to use extra space when completing the forms. If you're thinking, oh, I need to continue on a separate piece of paper, stop. You've written too much rubbish in there. Too much, way too much information, and you probably haven't answered the question. Yeah? I think people taking 10% of written is too much. Cut it. Cut it. And if you're writing really, really, really tiny so you can squeeze it all in, it's too much. Too much. Cut the crap. Get to the point. They are very busy. They just need to understand what your daily life is like. are you telling the truth? Link it to the evidence so that they can then allocate the scoring. Okay, please cut the crap. By the way, big shout out to anyone that's booked time with me, because you're all doing brilliant at cutting the crap. I really appreciate that people are like, I was going to send you stuff, but I didn't. Yeah, don't send me stuff. Number 5. This is going to sound a bit odd coming from me. I need you to be careful about who you listen to. Actually, it doesn't sound odd. I think it's really important, right? You've got to be careful of who you're listening to. We are a vulnerable community. I say we because I count as well. I'm registered as vulnerable. When my brain fog's kicked in or when I'm out of it in a flare-up, I am extremely vulnerable. We are vulnerable. We are desperate. None of us are truly chronically ill want to be like this. We just want to be well so we can get on with our lives. None of us want to be claiming PIP and not DWP, PIP and ADP. None of us want to be claiming this. We want to be getting on with our lives, not trapped in bed in pain or unable to get off the sofa because you're so depressed. None of us want to be like this. Okay, I think I've made my point. I was getting a bit passionate then. I've seen people that have paid thousands of pounds for help at tribunal level, and the help they've had is, we logged your case. No one sat down with them. No one explained the points. No one even checked that they were entitled to it. Now, I'm not saying only book with me. I'm absolutely not saying that. I know there is going to be other amazing people out there, right, that can help you. This is my advice. Check the reviews. And when you're talking to them, if they don't sit down and go through the points with you, they are not good enough. They don't know what they're talking about. If they literally sit there and say, what's your life like? Or if they go to, let me just show the points again. This is the laziest. This makes me very grumpy at the thought of specialists doing it this way. This is lazy as fuck, right? And not helpful to you. If they showed you these points and they say to you, which category are you in? Which one of these are you? That is not good enough. I know that I have a lot of guides on here, and I know that thousands of you are using it to prove what your life is like and to win PIP and ADP, and I'm so happy for you. When I work with clients, I never just go, well, what point are you? We talk about it. They tell me about what their life is like, and I ask questions, just like an assessment, obviously Charlie version. I'll ask them questions. I'll ask them what's called leading questions. So they'll give me information, which then means I can ask more questions because we're getting to a direction as to what their life is like. The amount of people that select the wrong points is horrendous. And that's why you don't win. So if you are working with someone, they should have the points in front of them. I've done this so many times. I never do it. I'm always looking at the points. You'll see me in these videos where I'm chatting about something and I'll look down. It's because I'm glancing at the points to keep me on track. That's how you can tell if someone's good. The feedback that they've got, and then how they ask you the questions. Okay? And please, please just be careful. Just be careful. If they don't talk to you about anything, especially tribunal, if they don't sit down and do a pack that has photographic evidence in, they're not good enough. Okay, and remember, if you're paying for someone's service, you can ask them questions. There's reasonable requests to ask them questions. Also, this is something that happened. One of my clients had paid a lot of money to sit down with someone and linked with me as well. And I didn't know this. I didn't know they were linking with 2 people until later on. Once they saw the difference in how I worked with them versus the company they'd paid thousands of pounds to, they then asked the individual, how many PIP cases have you worked on? Thousands of pounds they paid. That person had worked on 1 case. If someone doesn't have experience but wants to help you, they need to be honest about it. It doesn't need to be hundreds like what I've done. Because remember, my success rate when I was at like 30 was 100%. So it doesn't need to be hundreds. But you can ask these questions. This is your life. It's your claim, your life. And to win PIP and ADP is life-changing. You don't want to depend on some random person that actually doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about. I hope this helps.